what's going on? Welcome back to I Don't Like Grumpy. Welcome back to the Odd History series. You're not seeing my face today as I'm going to try this as just a voiceover video. But today we are going to look at 10 of the most odd things Zeus ever did. As we all know, Zeus from Greek mythology was the king of the gods, so the leader of the leader. He's known to lie, to cheat, especially to women. He was known to trick them into infidelity, and his punishments were harsh, to say the very least. So, without any more mucking around, let's jump into this. Number 1. He turned his first wife into a fly, inator. Before marrying Hera, Zeus was in union with a titan named Metis. Things were going well until a prophecy was spoken to Zeus that he had to be overpowered by one of 2 children he'd have with Metis, the same way he overtook Kronos. To keep from having children with Metis, Zeus convinced her to turn into a fly, and then he ate her. Metis was pregnant with Athena at the time, and when the girl was born she had to be split out of Zeus's head. Metis, however, was never heard from again. Number 2. He chained Prometheus to a rock so an eagle could eat his liver. Prometheus took fire from the gods and gave it to humans as a gift of heat and light. Zeus wasn't pleased with Prometheus for his act of pilfering, but more than anything the god was angry that someone would defy his will, and as a punishment Zeus chained him to the side of Mount Caucasus. But Zeus didn't just chain Prometheus. Zeus ordered an eagle to peck out Prometheus's liver every night. Then the liver would revive itself, and the eagle would come again and start the whole thing over and over and over each night. Number 3. He tricked Pandora into being a burden on humanity. Zeus designed Pandora to be a burden on humanity. After she was created by the gods, Hera gifted Pandora with a thirst for knowledge, and then Zeus gave her a box and made her promise never to open it, something he knew she couldn't do. Unable to curb her curiosity, Pandora opened the box and unleashed everything evil into the world. 4. He turned into a cloud to seduce Io. Io was the princess of Argos. She was a beautiful woman that Zeus tried to woo in a multitude of ways, but she never accepted his advances. Rather than move on, Zeus turned himself into a cloud and got intimate with her. When Hera found out, she turned Io into a cow and sent stinging Gladfly to follow her everywhere she went to drive her mad. Io ended up chained to a tree guarded by the 100-eyed dog of Argus. After Io wandered to Egypt, Zeus turned her back into a human. Number 5. He was consistently unfaithful to his wife, Hera. While in an immortal union with the goddess Hera, Zeus stepped out on her many times, usually in creative ways to conceal his infidelity. To name but one thing, Zeus turned into a bull to sleep with Europa. While many of the transformations are odd, perhaps the strangest was when he turned into a shower of gold so he could be with Danae. Number 6. Humankind annoyed him, so he decided to wipe them out. When Zeus got frustrated with the decadence of humanity, he decided to wipe everyone out with a great flood. With the help of Poseidon, he raised the ocean so high that everyone except for the Delusian and the wife of Pyrrha lost their lives. The Delusian and Pyrrha rode out the flood in an ark. The waters only receded after they offered a sacrifice to Zeus. Number 7. He forced Atlas to hold the world on his shoulders. After defeating the Titans as a young god, Zeus cast most of his elders into Tartarus, an underworld dungeon. The Titan Atlas received a special punishment though. Instead of tossing his muscle-bound Titan into the underworld, he forced Atlas to hold the earth on his shoulders. But after generations holding the planet in place, he was transformed into a massive mountain in the head of Medusa. Number 8. He bound Accion to an eternal burning wheel. After killing his father, Accion was forced out of Thessaly and shunned. Zeus pitied the young man and invited him to move to Mount Olympus. Everything was fine, until Thessaly tried to sleep with Zeus's wife Hera. When Zeus found out about Thessaly's desire, he didn't merely kick Thessaly out of the palace. Instead, he made a cloud in the shape of Hera. After Thessaly made love to the Hera cloud, Zeus bound him to a burning wheel that was sentenced to spin through the sky continuously. Number 9. He made the gods choose sides in the fight between the Trojans and the Greeks. Zeus played a massive contribution in starting the conflict of the Trojans by pushing the Prince of Troy Paris to choose which goddess he'd gift with a golden apple. When Zeus woke up from a night with Hera, he discovered the gods had intervened in the mortals' conflict. He was furious, but instead of stopping them from fighting, he told the gods and goddesses that they had to pick sides, and that it was their duty as omnipotent beings to lend a hand. Number 10. He cursed Cepheus to push a giant boulder up a hill forever. Cepheus was the king of Euphoria, and rather than treat visitors to his kingdom with style and grace, he laid waste to them. His breaking of the Xena, Zeus's concept of hospitality and generosity shown to travellers and guests, sent Zeus into fits. First, Cepheus was chained up in Hades, but Cepheus got the best of Thanos, who was attaching him to Hades, and attacked him with a rock. He didn't just outsmart Zeus, he essentially put a stop to the cycle of life on Earth. Ares was upset that mortal disagreements had become inconsequential and unchained Thanatos. Eventually Zeus became tired of the king and punished him to push his boulder up the hill for all of eternity. Whenever the giant stone reached the top of the hill, it rolled back to the bottom, and Cepheus had to roll it up again. Number 11. He forced his father to throw up his siblings and then overthrew them. Corneus wasn't a great dad. Before the Titan had any children, he heard a prophecy that his progeny would overthrow him. To stay in his seat of power, Corneus swallowed all of his children, all of them except for Zeus. Zeus survived the fate of his brothers and sisters when Rhea the Titan swapped the young god out with a rock and hid him on the island of Crete. After some time, Zeus dosed a goblet of mead meant for Corneus, which made his father spit up his siblings. After his brothers and sisters were fully regurgitated, they overthrew the Titans, banishing most of them to Tartarus. So there you have it, guys. That was 10 plus one little sneaky fact about Zeus, the leader, king of the gods. Thank you very much for listening, watching, paying attention, whichever you decided to do. I'm sorry but not sorry for showing my face. I will in loads of other videos. I just given this a go just because I thought it might be a bit quicker and it's something that I'm attempting. So please comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much again for listening. Much love to you. Peace.